welcome to the virtual Sebring International Raceway for round 2 of the Renault Clio League Season 2.
Flag.
We are green and away we go. Jukovic from the start. You heard from P2, Lewis Henriquez behind, tucking up towards turn number 1. It goes rather single file pretty quickly. He's just gone a bit too deep there at turn number 1 for Mark Codd. Stays behind at 420, but off goes Hilton. Slightly wide. Powell moves out the line. It's going to be 3 abreast for the lead in Division 2. Heading up towards turn number 5. They settle it down. Hilton leads way still. Downey onto the gravel around the outside, but Riley Downey moves past Levy Powell to the right-hand side. Swain looking for 3rd right now, past Levy Powell. There's lock-off on both of them. Contact! As no, it's a Mark Codd issue, and it looks like he's gone into Van Rouge. Is that he's forgotten about the layout on this last lap of the race. Will just come home in a comfortable 3rd position as they come across the line. Jukovic wins here at Sebring for heat race number 1. And we are green for heat race number 2 as away we go. 10 minutes of our 2nd race of the day. McBuller fighting away at the back of the field, 3 wide into the hairpin as Martin ahead. He's in Division 2. He doesn't want to get involved in any fights between the Division 1 drivers ahead. If this is side by side behind though, it's Zach Thibault side by side with Bob Poplar. Thibault goes off the circuit. He is pushing it hard. Thibault is leading Division 2. He is fighting hard with Bob Poplar, who is in Division 1. More door by door contact there as they get up into turn 7 through turn 8. Is Poplar going to be able to keep it on track? He does, and in fact Aaron Perez is there now alongside Poplar as well, and more to Poplar's annoyance, Joshua Soto is the driver just behind him in the 23. Anders Hagland now has Bob Poplar over the rear. Poplar is going to go up the inside of Hagland. Is Poplar going to go deep? No, he gets a perfect layup there. He moves to defend. Anders Hagland goes for that move. Now Anders Hagland has got Soto on the outside. Hagland is going to now have to fight with Soto. Is he going to go fighting? Yes, he is. Door-to-door contact there. Coming through up towards the bend. Both drivers keeping it on just. We saw something like this last race. It did not end well. Is it going to end better here? There is contact and through goes Aaron Perez. Both of them onto the grass, and here comes Poplar up the inside of Rosenfeld. There's not contact, but through once again goes Aaron Perez. Gonna take advantage of this one to the left-hand side. Perez goes! He's getting pushed by Poplar. He runs wide. They're gonna head up to the hairpin here. Is Poplar going to be able to do anything? Mohammed is going to win heat race 2. Cook is going to take 3rd. There's contact. Somehow Rosenfield has fallen back down the order here. Perez on the outside of Soto, but it looks like he's not going to be able to hold it, or is he? It's going to be door banging up towards the line, but Soto takes that position ahead of Perez because we're green and we are away. Jukovic off from pole. Mohammed off from 2nd from the front row there. All 27 drivers heading up towards turn number 1. Here goes Poplar up the inside of Zach Thibault. He does it, and he does it cleanly this time. He makes that move, but it's not so clean behind. Aaron Perez goes for the lead in Division 2. Contact with Zach Thibault. Soto now up the inside of Anthony Hilton for 7th in class, 7th overall. Hilton leading that Division 2 is going to fight back with Joshua Soto, not letting it go. Right now, there's swap over, there's contact. And around goes Joshua Soto. The gaggle of drivers as they head up to the hairpin. Riley Downey, where was he going in all of that? And he moves to the inside. There's contact. There's wheel-to-wheel contact. Fox jumps up into the air. They're still side by side here. McBuller on the inside of Fox. Fox holds it around the outside with speed, and here comes Timothy Rosenville. Aaron Perez. Matt Malone goes for the outside line on Perez, and Lane looks to the inside, decides safely to back out of that one. Enter the brakes, and he's hit from the back. He's hit from behind. He goes off the circuit. Doesn't seem like major damage though. It is broken suspension. Apart from in the inverted grid, no one has beaten Jukovic so far this season. Can Mohammed do that? He's on the outside into turn 2. It's the long way round, and it's dropped him back behind. Almost 0.4 of a second behind. It's gonna be Jukovic ahead of Al Harari. There is the checkered flag, and away we go. We're green for the final race of the day. Side-by-side battles going on behind, and who is that missing the braking point? That's Aaron Perez. Three-wide action. Yes, there's gonna be, surely. A little bit of three-wide. No, there's a nudge. There is a nudge behind, and an innocent party in all of that than he did last week. He is battling it out for P12 right now with El Harari. He's on the outside line, as that is Enriquez on the inside line. He moves to the right-hand side. That was a very risky move. Could have been taken off there. Wasn't taken off. They're still side-by-side in this fight. But El Harari now side-by-side. With Ian, sorry, no, now Jukovic side by side with Ian Lane. That's going to turn to the inside line here, under braking. Can Rox take third overall? He's third in class already, yes he can. Joshua Soto goes up the inside of Levi Powell, can't do it. Riley Downey gets back into third on the exit, as it looks like he's on the outside for Peter McIntyre, and it looks like it's that Hot Wheels driver again. He's already been involved in one crash, and it's a second bit of contact in the same part of the circuit, and a big hit for the 404 over the rear of Clayton McBuller as they headed up to turn number 2. It's a look up the inside of turn 2, and a nice easy move for Harry Fox puts him into the lead here. That Gould runs, and that's a black flag for 9th place runner Matt Codd. That's contact between Cook and Gould. This is side-by-side action for 4th position. Jukovic is gonna hit Poplet there with a little bit of door-to-door combat. But they're gonna get the position, and Jukovic moves into 4th position in class. Poplet and Levi Powell as Poplet drops back. Why has he done that? What is going on for Poplet? He has fallen so far down at the very end of this race. Welcome to the virtual Daytona International Speedway for the 3rd round of the Renault Clio League Season 2. New this season, the Renault Clio League is broadcasted live for you to watch every week from 5:30 PM GMT on the Beehive Build Twitch channel. I hope you are once again ready for this one. We have had some fantastic races so far this season, and it is bound to happen again today. Before we focus too much on today's event, let's start with the calendar for the 2nd season of Clio League Racing before we discuss the format of the races. After today's race at Daytona, we will be heading off to Portland with no chicane on August the 9th for round 4. We're going to have a week off between the 4th and 5th rounds before we head to Tsukuba for the 2000 Moto circuit. Heading then to Winton Club for round 6 before another week off at the start of September. We'll be back at Monza Junior for round 7, followed by Thruxton on September 20th. We head to the short layout at Nürburgring the week before our final rest week at the start of October. Did someone say Knockhill? Because we did. Back-to-back events at Knockhill on October 11th and 18th with the National Reverse Circuit and the International Circuit respectively. Finally, the season's going to end on October 25th at Oschersleben B, the track I managed to win the invert race in the mini-season. Because that's right, we have inverted racing. You are going to get treated today. We have not got just one race, not just 2. 4 races are coming your way today, so let's talk about the format of the event. Just your usual closed qualifying format for the events, but all of your odd number qualifiers are heading onto track for Heat Race 1. All your even numbered qualifiers, well, they get a quick break before heading to track in Heat Race 2. These heat races, just 10 minutes long. You've got to wear your heart on your sleeve if you're going to want to move up any positions in those races. All drivers will find their way onto the track for Feature Race 1 for 15 minutes of racing, the grid determined by the heat race results. And finally, Feature Race 2, 20 minutes of racing action with an inverted grid. The number reversed is randomly selected each week. A minimum of 15 cars is going to be included in that invert. So how do the championship standings look like heading into the third round of the season? Let's first discuss the Division 1 cast, because Jukovic is at the top of the standings after a dominant opening 2 rounds. He leads El Hilary by 6 points. Those bonus points really coming in to help on El Hilary's way as well. Then you've got Hurd down in 3rd position in the Division 1 category, followed by Fox and Malone rounding out the top 5. In Division 2, the championship is currently led by Hilton after the first 2 rounds of the season. Downey jumps into 2nd place with a great run of results at Sebring, and Thibaut sits in 3rd place, followed by Swaim and Edgar in the top 5. Both of these championships are sure to bring a great fight all season long. The World Centre of Racing owns its name. It is host to the Daytona 500. It is host to the Rolex 24. It is host to the Bike Week's Daytona 200, the Daytona Kart Week, among others. The 2.5 mile oval and 3.56 mile road course is well known around the world. Only the second oval to be built longer than 1.25 miles and the replacement to the old beach road course a few miles east. Daytona's high banks have held host to some of the most memorable moments in motorsport. Today, however, we'll not be touching the steep banks of the oval because we are going to be going along the 5-turn infield of the Daytona road course. This is going to be an absolutely fantastic one. Let's get ourselves out onto the track then so we can see what has been some interesting weather in this practice session right now. Now, the weather itself, it's not raining at the moment, but you have come in just at the point in which the rain has stopped, because the rain was going all the way through that build-up at the start of the stream while we were watching the highlights from last week at Sebring. And it is drizzling. You can see the smallest amounts of rain just dropping every now and again here. But it is expected to have some rain across the course of tonight. It's supposed to dry up into the morning then. The way that this session starts is our first heat race will be at midnight in-game time, with the last race of the day being early morning, 6 a.m, I believe, for feature race number 2. Now, in our qualifying session so far this season, it has been Jukovic out at the very top of the standings. That's not the same right now. It is not. It is Bob Poplett, who is the fastest man on track at the moment. Less than 50 seconds to get a lap time here. 48.191 is the fastest. And we are going to see if we can see some of those lap times now. I'm using a whole new setup with all the buttons. I no longer have to use my mouse. Everything is on a whole host of tablets in front of me. So hopefully everything is going to work. Let's go have a little look to see if Poplett is out on track at the moment. He is. Here he is. So, Bob Poplett. He's been quite a fast driver this season. Now, Poplett was one who really wanted to move up the order last week at Sebring with a couple of bits of contact. And there you go, actually. Goes up the inside there. Obviously, it's all learning for some of these drivers, getting used to these wet weathers. And actually, you can see how dominant on the left-hand side the Division 2 drivers are here. Names that we are used to. Championship leader there, Hilton, down in 14th overall. But you've got a driver who is coming up the order quite well in a number of the races at Sebring. You've got Perez at the top of the Division 2 class right now. Then you've got Swaim, you've got Lincoln Hatfield. There goes Matt Neal to the very top of the Division 2 category. Look how close Poplet and Jukovic are, though. 0.003 of a second. There is nothing to separate them right now. This is Jukovic, of course. Actually, let's ride on board with Jukovic. Let's see how he gets on as I try to figure out. There you go. Look at this. I'm learning that I've got all the buttons that I need down on my my tablets. It's just getting used to it. Jukovic goes fastest that time around. This is only practice, of course. It's not the qualifying session. Only 2 laps that they'll have to put in their fastest laps. But you're going to see how short this circuit is. They've already gone through turn number 1, that right-handed hairpin. That's turn number 2 there by Jukovic. Heading up now to turn number 3. It's this, what is turn 5, I believe, in the full road course layout. And then you head up to the wiggles. Now, the wiggles are all the way until we go next to the pit lane at turn 4. So here we go, into turn 4. We'll go over this concrete and back onto the circuit, onto the left hand of turn 5. And here is the start-finish line. The pit lane comes off of turn, well, just before turn number 4. So drivers who we saw a number of black flags in Sebring, they're going to be hoping that they don't need to use those black flags today, but if they do, they're going to hopefully know where they need to head off for that pit lane as Jukovic continues around with a very nice lap, we will say. Linksome Hatfield is now the fastest of the Division 2 drivers. Here he is, number 18 machine, just behind Jukovic out on track, actually. Most drivers out on circuit, right now. 27 cars in the server, which is nice. Looking at it, we've got 12 Division 1 drivers, 15 Division 2 drivers. So a nice big Division 2 field. Division 1 drivers will be trying to take advantage of the fact that there are just 12 of them today. Some of those names we want moving towards, trying to catch up towards Jukovic at the top, obviously, will be drivers like El Hilary. He's down in 9th in class right now, 19th overall. Matt Malone, he's 10th in class right now, 20th overall. You've got Luis Henriquez, who actually did get quite close to those positions near the front last week, couldn't quite pull it all the way out. You had Ian Lane, Neil Rocks was fighting out, and like I said, Bob Poplet was doing a great job, especially moving up the field. And actually, if he's going to start up in second, he's going to have a good time here. Not too sure why my timing tower has decided it doesn't want to exist anymore. There we go, we'll get our timing tower back. Do you know what, actually? Let us hide our timing tower. And what we're going to do is something that I like to do nearer the end of practice, is we are going to set up our individual divisions here so we can actually see how each individual division category is doing right now, because these are the divisions. This is how they score points. So even though they're all racing out on track at the same time, this division split is how they score points. So Jukovic at the moment fastest of Division 1s. Hilton fastest of the Division 2 field, which is good for championship leader in the Division 2 field, of course, because that is Hilton. Thibaut has done a great job lately to get up some order points. Let's see if anyone else is out on track right now. As I hit a load of numbers and see if we can find some people out on track. There, we got Jukovic back out on track at the moment. We do have a number of people out on track. The way that it does it on the track map is their racing numbers. And the way that I've done it on my tablet is their car position, their overall position. So it's just trying to figure out who's out on track that we can go and watch. Quite a few people down pit lane at the moment, though. As you can see, Jukovic coming and joining them down pit lane. It's a good way to practice. Where is that pit entrance? Just in case, for any reason, we do need it. This is Hilton. He is the fastest man in class overall. He is championship leader of Division 2. So right now, we have number 4 of Jukovic, Division 1 leader, leading Division 1 here. Hilton, the championship Division 2 leader, leading Division 2 right now as we come up towards the end of practice. We are going to get that back as a combined tower for you guys so you can see the overall positions once more as we head up towards the end of practice. We will get a quick jump with our drivers. There we go. We've got some McIntyre out on track right now. 13th in class, 25th overall. But yeah, we will get we'll get the practice order out to you in a second, because that way we can sort of see who's looking like they're going to be the faster driver here. And it is interesting to see Poplar so close to Jukovic and could be a possible championship, race contender here against Jukovic. Obviously, if Poplar qualifies second and Jukovic qualifies first, they will be in different Heat 1 races. Now, we do have a new driver that has just joined, Eric Martin. He is a Division 2 driver, but unfortunately, I haven't added him into our overlay list for this week. So you can see at the back the white car of Eric Martin. So we'll just keep an eye on him because he is a Division 2 driver. So that's just a good point to know. As Mark Codd goes fastest right at the end of the practice session there. Not so much a student driver, I feel, this week, because Mark Codd, fastest of them all. He pulls over to the side. He's decided, I've gone fastest. That's enough racing for me. Let's see if we can get the results from this qualifying session then before we from this practice session then before we head into qualifying, as we get our results from practice. Qualifying will begin in a moment's time. Is it as it goes late tonight? Are we going to be able to see our practice results? You can show them to us. There we go. Mark Codd, fastest, just ahead of Jukovic in that practice session, ahead of Bob Poplar. You got Anthony Hilton, the fastest Division 1 driver. Aaron Perez, not too far behind. Like I said, he was quite a good driver last week at Sebring, so it'll be interesting to see what he can do here. Linksome Hatfield was driver that was coming up the order. He's 6th in the championship, 6th on the overall field here. Timothy Rosenfeld didn't have the greatest of races back at Sebring. Then it's Luis Henriquez, and then it's Matt Neal and Jared Swain. They were the top 10 from practice. Let's get on to your qualifying, though. I think that's what you're going to be a bit more interested in here. This is the number 8 machine. This is Ian Lane. That's not quite the driving line that you're going to be hoping for, that's for sure, as he has decided to abandon that lap. This is Matt Neal. Matt Neal, new racer this week. In that number 49 machine, Division 2. He comes to a stop as well. Have they possibly, these drivers, attempted dry tyres? It's not raining anymore, so they've gone for the dry tyres, but the session just doesn't quite call for the dry tyres. That's going to be the question here. Here's Bob Poplar then. Poplar was extremely fast in practice, really close to Jukovic, obviously before we were interrupted at the top by Mark Codd. But let's see what Bob Poplar can do here. Can we get the timings at the bottom? Yes, we can. The 727, number 5 on the side of his car, but it is the 727 on the on his window. Coming through turn number 4 into turn 5, we'll cross that line, and that lap was a 50.9. Now, we saw some 48s obviously going around in practice, but it looks like that was just an out lap for Poplar. So this is now his running lap. 3.5 minutes left on the grid. That is all there is left in this session. It's not a long qualifying session, only 2 laps of course. Rosenfeld has gone fastest right now. Division 1 drivers faster than the Division 2 drivers that are currently on the board. Where will Bob Poplar go? Interesting. I am also looking at Mark Codd, of course, and as always, we will be looking towards El Hireri and Jukovic when they come across the line. Rosenville goes fastest. El Hireri goes second fastest, only just behind. Henriquez only just behind that. Look how close your top 3 is at the moment. Poplar is 4 tenths down, so a really good practice session. Not running as well here in qualifying. Are we able to find Jukovic out on track? He is. Which turn is he coming into? As Jukovic goes fastest overall here in qualifying. He's coming through turn 1, so this is going to be his second lap of the session. But Stephen Hurd goes to the top by 6 thousandths of a second right now. Neil goes into 8th, leading the Division 2 drivers. Jukovic could be off of pole for the first time this season. First 2 rounds, he has gone into pole position. Will we see him in Heat 2 instead of Heat 1? And Heat 2 is normally the hotter races of the two. They're normally where the races get a bit more feisty. Here comes Jukovic through turn number 4, up towards turn 5. What will it be this time? Will it be faster than Stephen Hurd? Yes, it is. It is a quick lap indeed. Where is Hurd? Is Hurd out? It doesn't look like Hurd is out on track, actually, at the moment. Jared Swaim flies up the order in the Division 2 there. As it looks like a lot of drivers now have finished their lap times. Let's see if we can get Downey here. So Riley Downey's just gone 19th overall, 10th in class. Eric Martin's 27th overall. Reminder, he is Division 2. So just imagine he has that blue label, that 609 machine. He will have it next week. Onto the brakes for Downey here. It is very dark, of course. It is racing very late at night here at Daytona. As Downey is coming up to cross the line for, I believe, his second lap. It was a 48.653 last time around. Hilton and Hagland, as Hilton goes into 3rd overall and 1st in the Division 2 category, and Downey goes 5th in the Division 2 category. Some really strong Division 2 drivers here, putting in some really strong laps. Hilton has almost gone best of the rest behind Jukovic there. He's only 200ths of a second off of Hurd. Qualifying here then, it looks like coming to a close. Here's Bob Poplet. Has he already put in his 2 laps? I believe he has already put in his 2 laps. So I believe that is going to be qualifying over here. So let's have a look at how our grid is going to line up. Obviously, we are going to have 2 separate races. Those on the left-hand side are going to be starting heat race number 1. Those on the right-hand side will be starting heat race number 2. So let's talk through heat race number 1. We're going to have Jukovic out in front of Hilton. Behind Hilton is going to be Ian Lane. Then it's Timothy Rosenberg, followed by Travis Linksome Hatfield. Mohamed El Hilary, quite slow actually, 11th overall. That will start him in 6th in class, I believe. Then it'll be Bob Poplet behind that. One of the fastest in practice, just couldn't replicate it in qualifying. Following behind that will be Matt Neal and Richard Edgar. Then we've got Jurgen Nagel, Kevin Anfield, Harry Fox, Neil Rocks, Eric Martin, Matt Gwillim at the back of the field. That is your grid for division number 1. As drivers are starting to place themselves onto the grid. Hilton starting from the front row alongside Jukovic. So we have got, this is how it goes actually. The top 6 are a checkerboard of Division 1 and Division 2 drivers. Jukovic ahead of Hilton, ahead of Lane, ahead of Hagland, ahead of Henriquez, ahead of Downey. So it is genuinely a run of... what am I trying to say? It is genuinely a run of drivers from the Division 1 to the Division 2 categories. Right, we are about to prepare our way. I'm seeing if I can get a certain camera up here, and I'm just having a look at what cameras we have available, and we do not have the static camera, which I am upset about, because the static camera is my favorite camera for race starts. We are going to have to stick with our normal ones though. We've got about 30 seconds on the grid now. We've got just waiting for Aaron Perez to grid up. You can see at the front of the field is Milan Jukovic. He has qualified pole in all 3 races so far. We are preparing ourselves away here then for the start of heat race number 1. We're green and we are away here at Daytona for heat race number 1. There is still some spray on the circuit. Drivers are going to have to be careful. They cannot push it too hard, even though it is starting to dry up a little bit. Some issues towards the back. We've got Michael Wynn off the circuit at the very back of the field there, as it is going to be side by side for a lot of our drivers towards the back. They're settling it up single file towards the front, though. That is what they are going to want to keep right now as we head through turn number 3. 10 minutes here is going to be about 13 laps of racing due to how close we are with, well, sorry, how short the lap is, should I say. Some position shading at the background. It's almost 4 wide at the back there. Who is that? That's Lob leaving Malone, leading Perez here as they settle through turn number 4. Malone's into the wall, hits Perez. What's happened there? For Malone, I think that's been some aquaplaning, but that is a real shame for Perez. Caught up in that one. Meatball flag for Matt Malone, and it looks like there may even be some issues towards the back for Brendan Lobb. Brendan Lobb also meatball flagged. Aaron Perez also meatball flagged. Not a good start to the race for any of them. That is a real shame as we head up now once again towards turn number 5, as drivers surely now aware of the water that is out on the track, because that aquaplaning would have made it really, really difficult. As here goes a move for 3rd position. Ian Lane on the outside is Anders Hagland, who is going to turn to the outside lane here. Now you can still see that checkerboard of Division 1 and Division 2 drivers, which means that actually Lane in the 3rd is going to get the points for position 2. But Hagland's going to want to get past Lane so he can try and close down the championship leader of Hilton. Hilton just pulling away here. A great qualifying, and it is paying off right now because Ian Lane is making his Renault Clio as wide as he possibly can to try and keep Hagland behind. We are riding on board with Ian Lane. He runs wide though, and that is Hagland up the inside and will take 3rd position. He tucks back behind there, so Hagland now into 3rd overall and will be trying to chase down Anthony Hilton, who is leading the Division 2 category right now. But your overall podium includes drivers, 2 Division 2 drivers. Only 1 Division 1 driver in your overall podium at the moment. This is the fight between Downey and Henriquez. Downey appearing at Sebring last week and doing a fantastic job to go into 2nd in the championship in the Division 2 category. Can he do something here to take himself past Hilton in that championship? He overtakes Henriquez up the inside of turn number 1. Ian Lane trying an alternate line up ahead to get back past Anders Hagland. It's not going to work out for him, and he is going to have to stick behind in 4th overall. Fortunately for him, he now does have Downey in between himself and Henriquez, or is he going to? A wider line there from Downey, and actually, even though it made him slower in the corner, it's given him a great exit. Really thinking of the wet racing line here from Riley Downey, who is in 5th overall, 3rd in class. You can see that Jukovic hasn't been able to pull out a huge gap to Hilton, only about a 2nd right now in the first half of this race. Could Hilton possibly pull back towards him? Hagland has opened about a 4/10 gap up to Lane now, so Ian Lane dropping a little bit behind. This is looking at Mark Codd. Codd went fastest in practice overall. Qualified a bit further down the order than I think he was hoping for. He is 4/10 behind Luis Henriquez here, who is 3rd in class, so 3rd in Division 1. So even though they're fighting for 6th overall, this is still a fight for the podium in class. So these points are still important. Biggest points of the day, of course, coming in feature race 1 before we do the invert. As we come up into turn number 2, the left-hander, the drivers have really started to settle themselves down a bit now. Anders Hagland not wanting to give or up too much time to Anthony Hilton, though. About 0.8 of a second here between Hilton and Hagland, and that's in class as well. So that's the fight for the lead of the Division 2 category. Brendan Lobb is going to be black flagged this time, so a penalty, and he will be down pit lane, I'm sure, to serve that after the issues earlier on in the race. I believe it all happened on lap 1 for those drivers. Up towards turn number 2, drivers getting past the back marker here of, I believe that is Lobb, that is allowing these drivers through and out of the way. So they are just going to continue through, and hopefully nice and clean. They do. There goes Downey through up the inside. Here comes Henriquez. Here comes Codd behind as well. So I believe that is Lobb just letting them all through, not wanting to get too much into that fight. 0.7 of a second now between Hilton and Hagland. But the gap between Henriquez here in 7th and Codd behind is only 0.4 of a second. So this is the fight, of course, for 3rd in the Division 2 class that we are watching right now. And that's a slight lock-up, it looked like, for Henriquez. And it's allowed Codd just to get up to his rear view here, be all over his rear bumper, trying to make his way through. Obviously quite dark here, but they have got their headlights blaring. So it's not raining anymore, but it certainly is still wet out there. There you go, you can just see it's not raining anymore, but it is damp. There's not a lot of wind to blow the water off the circuit. It will just be these drivers running around the track that will be trying to kick all of the water off as the rain has gone for now. Will it come back is the question, though. Will it come back heavier is the question, as there is the fight up ahead for the lead of the Division 2 category. So this is a race for P2 overall, but it is the race for the win in the Division 2 category. Hilton is going to want to take this. Being the championship leader, he's going to want to try and take as much position as he can, as that is Downey up the inside of lane just behind. That is for 4th overall, not for a class position, though. We will keep on watching this fight for the lead. In fact, we are going to ride on board with the 747 of Anders Hagland, as he's going to try and close up to Anthony Hilton here for P1 in class. Different racing lines into turn 1, and in fact, that is a great exit for Hagland here. Is it going to be a move? He's going to be stuck on the outside. He can't do it there. He follows behind through turn number 2 and up to the braking zone of turn 3 here. Hagland, knowing he has a bit more confidence, a better racing line into turn 1. Is he just going to wait once more for turn number 1? Is it going to be white flag next lap? No, I think we're going to get 2 more laps in it. With a lap time of 50 seconds, we are definitely going to get a more than 1 more lap in. 2 laps to go as Anders Hagland goes to the outside of Anthony Hilton. It's a really wide line. Is it going to pay off on the exit for some speed, or is it not? It doesn't look like it's paid off. We're riding on board here with Anthony Hilton. He's got Anders Hagland behind as we go into turn number 3. Heading up towards the white flag lap here. Downey has solidified the move in the background past Ian Lane, which means your podium for the Division 2 class are going to beat 2nd and 3rd of the Division 1 class as it stands. The Division 2 drivers showing their worth today. Around the outside. No, he's off. He is off. As Hagland pushes just a bit too much. and falls to 3rd in class. Hilton is going to feel extremely safe now, as here comes Milan Jukovic once again on pole position, as a meatball flag for Ian Lane will ruin his race at the end. Jukovic will win here at Daytona for heat race number 1. It is going to be Hilton coming home in P2 in class. Downey takes 3rd overall. Hilton, sorry, P2 overall, but 1st in class. What a great race, and let us get the results of that one. As heat race number 1 comes to an end, it's Jukovic who wins here, followed by Hilton. It was Downey in 3rd, Henriquez took 4th, and Mark Codden 5th. Anders Hagland took 6th, followed by Zach Gould, Peter McIntyre, John J.C. Cook, and Michael Wynn. Then it became Paul Borenstein, Ian Lane. Oh, as it looks like Borenstein. No, it was Eric Martin who isn't a class driver. It is then Ian Lane, Aaron Perez, Thomas Batchelor, Matt Malone, and Brendan Lobb. That being said, let's show you the grid for heat race number 2 as they line up. It's the drivers on the right. So it's going to be Hurd, followed by Swain, Tebow, Rosenfield, Hatfield, Linksome Hatfield, El Hilary, no, that seems like the wrong drivers now. That seems wrong. That's no longer showing me the correct ones. We'll ignore that. It's Stephen Hurd, followed by Swain, Tebow, Rosenfield, Lincoln Hat. No, it is the right drivers. Followed by El Hilary, Bob Poplar, Matt Neal, Richard Edgar, Jurgen Nagel, Kevin Anfield, Harry Fox, Neil Rocks, Eric Martin, and Matt Gwilym. That showed that on the wrong side earlier then, surely, because I'm certain I read half of those names for heat race number 1. That being said, let's get going then. We are green for heat race number 2. It is Hurd away from the lead as they head into turn number 1. That is, I believe, Zach Tebow going up the order. Jared Swain falling down from what was pole position in the Division 2 category behind Stephen Hurd. 10 minutes once more then for this race. These races seem to always have a bit more excitement than the Heat 1 races. I don't know what it is about Heat 2, but they just seem to push a bit harder. Poplar's up to 6th at the moment. El Hilary, championship contender with Jukovic, is currently down in P7 overall. 4th in class, and will be hoping to make his way up the order. Gets past Matt, well, trying to confirm the move past past Matt Neal here. Matt Gwilym is down pit lane because he has got a black and orange meatball flag, so not a good opening lap for him. Not sure what's happened there, but we will jump down the order because there is this fight going on. This is for P11. Harry Fox leading Jurgen Nagel here out in what is 5th and 6th in their respective classes. Now, I'll remind you, Martin, that white car is going to be a blue Division 2 driver. Just so you are not wondering too much on why there is a car with a white background on there. He is a Division 2 driver. Back up towards the front then, Jared Swain and Zach Tebow. They are fighting it out for 1st in class. What is it with our Division 2 drivers going so high today as there's some instant in the background? That's Poplar, who moves up into moves down to P7. Looked like there may have been some contact with Linksome Hatfield going into turn number 1. They have settled it all out now though, and they are back single file, but there is a little bit of a nudge here. Another nudge again. Driver off is Matt Neal. Matt Neal has gone off the track as we continue to watch Linksome Hatfield. And there was just a bit too much of a push with Richard Edgar. They're both off, and out goes Linksome Hatfield from this race. Are we going to see Edgar's out as well? Stephen Hurd out at the very front of the field is going fastest overall. But it looks like Gwilym, Edgar and Lincoln Hatfield all out of this race in the first few minutes and the first few laps. This is Jared Swaim. He's got Zach Tebow just behind. And then we've got Timothy Rosenfeld, a driver who had more than a few issues at Sebring. We're hoping to recover here, but has got 2 Division 2 drivers between himself and the leader of Stephen Hurd. Now, left in this race, realistically, you've only got 4 Division 2 drivers actually running with Swaim, Tebow, Neal and Nagel. So we just got to keep an eye on what's happening with them. But it does look like Gwilym has come back out on track, and actually it looks like very possibly Lincoln Hatfield and Edgar have both sorted out their meatball flags. So will they be coming back out on track is going to be the question right now. But the answer that I can give you is the fact that Swaim and Tebow aren't fighting too hard at the front here. It's not allowing Rosenfield to catch up. Driver who's fighting a little bit harder is a driver chasing Poplar here in P6. That is Harry Fox. Harry Fox has got Neil Rocks just behind him. They're the 2 teammate Fox and Rocks. So will they be pushing each other in the 221 and the 220 machine? Not quite close enough for that at the moment, as it does look like it is really drying up out there on the racing line. Is it enough to put those dry tyres on, do we think, for feature race 1? Very possible we could put the slick tyres on for feature race 1 now, because this is looking a lot drier than it did earlier on. Not as much spray. Wipers still going here behind Poplar, and we're going to watch. There is still definitely spray, as you can see, off the back of this car, but it's just not as much as it was earlier on. It looks like it from that view though, so who knows. As we continue to watch these fights that occur, we're going to go back to Tebow and Swaim, because Swaim is still leading, obviously, the Division 2 category in P2. Only a second off of Stephen Hurd, though. Rosenfeld, not too sure if he's going to be able to close in or not. It's only 0.6 of a second between himself and Tebow. Is he just being safe? He knows that in order to fight Hurd, he's got to get past Swaim and Tebow. And is it worth the risk fighting 2 Division 2 drivers when he could get second position here in class, plus bonus points for a clean race? I think he's had a clean race so far. Haven't seen anything come up for him just yet. As we continue to watch this fight go on, this is, of course, Poplar ahead of Fox. Is there going to be a move here from Fox into turn number 1? He looks to the inside. He is going to try it. He just doesn't have enough overlap. Only just. How is that going to affect his exit here? Is it going to put him under attack from Rocks, or is Rocks going to support him in his move back up towards Poplar? It looks like there's just enough gap that Rocks doesn't have to think about what he is going to do with his teammate ahead of him. Getting onto the brakes for turn number 3. Very wide line in. That wet racing line working very well for these Division 1 drivers. Swaim closing the gap to Hurd here. It's going to be interesting to see what their last lap times were across the line, because it is dropped below a second now between Hurd and Swaim. And it was a tenth and a half faster that lap from Swain. Obviously not enough laps remaining, about 5 laps remaining for these drivers. Not really enough to gain back that whole second, but it is interesting to know that maybe Hurd's just backing off a little bit. Could be that Swain's just finding pace where Hurd is not. It would be amazing if we see a Division 2 driver win one of these heat races, or even the feature race 1, before the invert. Really take it to the big boys in the Division 1 class. As we continue to watch the big boys in the Division 1 class, Harry Fox behind Bob Poplar. Fox has pulled back away from Rocks here. I'm also keeping an eye on the gap between Swaim and Tebow, because that remains about 0.3 of a second. And as we close up to the end of this race, there may be a move by Tebow here, but this is certainly a move. No, that's Tebow off the circuit ahead. Tebow has run off the circuit at turn number 1. That means that Swaim is now comfortably leading Division number 1, and there's contact as Fox goes to the outside of Poplar. There is a little bit of contact. Fox is still up the inside. Poplar's got the ideal wet racing line, but Fox has got the inside line. Fox does it. Fox moves into 6th overall, into 4th in class, and finally moves ahead of Bob Poplar. Poplar now with rocks over his rear. How is Poplar going to be feeling about that? There was a little bit of contact through turn number 2 as Poplar tried to get his normal racing line. More contact in turn 3 as again Poplar turned into his racing line and he just couldn't. Up ahead, Fox now trying to get past Zach Tebow for 5th overall. This is not a class overtake, but he wants to put a Division 2 driver between himself and Poplar, that's for sure. As Poplar goes for another new line there. A nice one into the corner. How is it going to give the exit? It keeps him about 3 tenths behind here. Fox is about 2.5 tenths behind Tebow. But that does move Rosenfield and El Harry into 3rd and 4th overall. They remain 2nd and 3rd in class. El Harry is not having the race that he would have hoped for with his championship rival winning heat race number 1, but he has recovered well. Remember, he started down towards the second half of this field, so he has recovered well at the start of this race, and we'll be hoping for something in feature race 1. And if that doesn't go as well, feature race 2 with the reverse grid could help him out on those points instead. Fox has made his way past Tebow, and that has allowed him to have a Division 2 driver between himself and Poplar. We're coming to the white flag lap here at Daytona. Here is Stephen Hurd, and I am not going to get it wrong and call this the wrong lap this time and say that's the checkered flag like I did in Heat Race 2 at Sebring. I'm going to get it right. We are only just on to the fastest lap, and Swaim has closed that gap down to about 7 tenths of a second. So I think if this were the feature race and he had those 15 minutes, Swain could be in with a chance to win one of the races. So it's going to be interesting to see how that goes. We've got so many Division 2 drivers who are going to be starting near the front in feature race 1. A little bit of lag there for Tebow. It's going to scare Poplar a bit, but Poplar can't do anything. But it is going to be Stephen Hurd who crosses the line to win Division 1 here in Heat Race 2. And Swaim wins Division 2 here in Heat Race number 2. The rest of the drivers coming across the line and doing it in absolute glorious fashion there. Let's have a quick look at the results for Heat Race number 2. Stephen Hurd won that one ahead of Jared Swaim. Timothy Rosenfeld came home in 2nd in class, 3rd overall, followed by Mohamed El Hilary. Harry Fox came 5th, followed by Zach Tebow, Bob Poplar, and Neil Rocks. Matt Neal and Jürgen Nagel round out your top 10. It was then Kevin Anfield who starts in 11th, followed by Eric Martin, who is a Division 2 driver, Matt Gwillam, Travis Linscomb Hatfield, and Richard Edgar down in 15th place. All drivers now out on track for feature race number 1. 31 drivers, shall we say, out on track here. That is how amazing this is going to be. 31 Renault Clios are going to be lining up on the grid here at the infield Daytona Road Short Circuit for 15 minutes of intense racing action. But this is not all we've got left to go today, because we have feature race 2, our invert, coming up directly after this one. Well, I say directly, we have a warm-up, so not quite directly after this one, but in a very short space of time after this one. And it'll be a good time for you to grab some popcorn ready for that. But I hope you are ready for race number 3, heat race number 2. It's Jukovic starting on first position here. It's Stephen Hurd in 2nd. Then you've got a swarm of Division 2 drivers up there. You've got Anthony Hilton, Jared Swaim, and Riley Downley, 3rd, 4th, and 5th on grid. You then got the Division 1 of Rosenveld, Henriquez, El Hilary, Cod and Fox, followed by another swarm of Division 2 drivers of Hagland, Thibault and Gould. Poplet then sits in 14th. Behind him is Peter McIntyre in D2. D1 is then Neil Rocks and John Cook, followed by Matt Neal, Michael Wynn, Jürgen Nagel and Paul Braunstein in Division 2. We've got about 15 seconds until we're going to go green, so I'm not going to have time to run through the rest of the field, but we are all prepared here for 15 minutes and approximately 19 laps of Clio racing action here at Daytona. 15 minutes is up on the clock and we are about to begin. The green flag is out. We are away and Paul Braunstein has been black flagged off the line, most likely for a jump start. It is still wet out there. All drivers out on the wet tyres. No one risking it with the slicks as we go side by side, slightly further down the order, but it does look like we are keeping it clean. It's going about 3 wide in the middle of the field here, but that's the 303 of John Cook. Deciding to back out of it, doesn't want to get involved too much up in that fight. Jukovic pulling away from Hurd out front now. Hurd pulling a slight gap to Hilton, but Hilton keeping behind his Division 2 drivers of Swain and Downey. And that is going to be important for him to keep those drivers behind him, for them to continue to move ahead in the championship standings. Across the line we go. Jukovic leading the way after the first lap of running here. Up the inside goes Downey. 5th position, trying to get up the inside of Swain. Couldn't quite do it. It's going to have to sit back. Braunstein has made his way down pit lane to serve his penalty, and he has done that. Up towards turn number 3, one of 2 braking zones on the circuit. Is there going to be an opportunity for a move here, as that's Rosenveld trying to close down onto Downey? Of course, those Division 1 drivers, Rosenveld, El Hilary, Cod, Fox, they know they can't get up to the lead of this race without getting past these Division 2 drivers. That's going to be slowing them down and could possibly be frustrating them, but I'm sure that they are enjoying some of the good racing that they are having with those Division 2 drivers as well. It's not just a split where we'll see those Division 2 drivers at the back. Oh yes, that is right. You can see that coming down. Rain starting to fall once more here in Daytona. The rain has begun once more at 4 a.m. for feature race 1. It'll be 6 a.m. for feature race 2. So where we thought it could be dry later on into this one, I'm going to have to say I'm going to take that away. This is the fight for the lead in Division 2. It is Swain over the back of Hilton right now. We're riding on board with Anthony Hilton, looking back towards Jared Swain. Hilton in 3rd, Swain in 4th. Onto the brakes, different racing line, and here comes Downey. Up the inside of Swain, there's a little bit of contact. Swain runs slightly wide, Hilton now pulling away. Downey keeping it side by side with Swain there in P2. Is going to have to back out into turn number 2 in that fight, but here comes Downey once more to the inside. Is going to go for it. There's contact. There's a little bit of a nudge. Another little bit of a nudge. And Downey is up the inside of Swain for P2 in class. Is going to drop back again, but that has increased that gap ahead to about 0.6 of a second here. So it's not going to be what Swain wanted, but is Downey going to make it 3 for 3 and go for a move again? He's on the wider line this time, getting it slowed down to turn into the corner. Drivers are going to have to worry about puddles that are going to start forming as Downey runs onto the grass ever so slightly there, but it is going to slow him down and drop him back towards Rosenveld. There has been a gap, though, that these Division 2 drivers have managed to pull away. Hagland and Neal feeling pretty safe in their 4th and 5th position right now as they continue to run around without any Division 2 drivers near them. We look further down the order. That's Bob Poplet running wide at turn number 3, stuck on the outside of Matt Neal now. We're looking to make that move. That is the front bumper gone for Bob Poplet. They're side by side, trying not to hit the wall, and Matt Neal keeps that position 12 overall as there continues to be a fight up ahead. Poplar stuck on the outside right now and can't do anything with that. We're going to go have a little look. This is Harry Fox and El Hilary fighting it out for 7th and 8th position overall. This is 4th and 5th in class. Fox on the outside line, can't quite do it. Edgar gets the meatball flag and will need to visit pit lane. Rosenfeld can see this fight between El Hilary and Fox happening behind. Is he going to try and take advantage of this and pull up towards the Division 2 drivers ahead and try to get away from this fight behind? But right now, it doesn't look like he's going to be able to. How is the 7 going to treat turn number 1? A much tighter line there. And that is Rosenfeld leaving the room, not wanting the contact. And it looks like that is going to be a perfect placement for El Hilary, just scaring Rosenfeld slightly wide at turn number 1. They're side by side up towards turn 2. Rosenfeld gets back onto the racing line. Fox looks up the inside of El Hilary. Can't do it. They continue up towards turn number 3, and Fox back up the inside of El Hilary here. And he makes it. Fox is going to stick on to 4th in class in that Division 1 category, ahead of Mohamed El Hilary behind, who has dropped to 8th overall. But they are still nip and tuck here, and I'm sure that El Hilary has not had enough of this race yet. What is Fox going to do? Going to go on the tighter line. El Hilary looking for an even tighter line. That is a disappearing El Hilary, and I'm really hoping we have not just lost a championship contender from this session, but I am afraid to say Mohamed El Hilary has disconnected from the session. That is a real shame. 2nd in the Division 1 championship and out of feature race 1 through no fault of his own. Hopefully he'll be back on for feature race 2. He's got about 10 minutes to get himself back in, because we will also have a short warm-up between feature race 1 and feature race 2. This continues to be the fight for 3rd in the Division 2 class, but just up ahead is an interesting fight. It is Swayman Downey continuing to go at it for 2nd in the Division 2 class. Sorry, the Rosenfeld Fox was a fight for 3rd in Division 1 class. This is the fight for the 2nd in the Division 2 class, higher up the field, of course, in this feature race. Normally you see this sort of result in an invert, but these Division 2 drivers showing they've got the pace here at Daytona today. This is Riley Downey behind Jared Swain, 2nd and 3rd in class. Hilton has pulled about a 2nd lead over these 2 drivers, the same sort of lead that Jukovic has pulled over Hurd. We are about halfway through this race now. Zach Gould has just made his way past Jürgen Nagel in the background for 24th overall, and what would be 11th in class if Eric Martin was counted in that class count, as that looked like a mistake in the background there for Rosenfeld, because he has fallen behind Fox. So Fox is now 3rd in class right now. A tight line here from Swain. A wide line from Downey through turn number 3. We'll be looking for the speed on the exit. Rosenfeld will be doing the same behind to see if he can make his way back past Harry Fox, who has gone through, like I said, at turn number 1 of this lap. On to the 10th lap of 19 now. No, sorry, the 11th lap of 19, as that's a move from Downey up ahead to try and take 2nd position in class. It's a bit deep though, falls back down to about half a second behind right now. Downey tried to make it stick, but it is really tricky on an adapting surface like this where the rain is spotty. It's coming in, it is going out. It is interesting to see the different lines forming, but Downey just couldn't quite stick it there. And we'll have another look at the weather. You can see it's partly cloudy. The rain has gone, but the circuit is 100% wet. It is not at all going to be ready for slick tyres by the end of this event. Feature race 2, even though it will start at 6 AM in-game time, it will be more than enough time as Downey goes up the inside As also Rosenville goes up the inside of Fox. Downey is up the inside of Swain. Rosenville drops behind. Downey does not drop behind here. On the outside lane, will turn across to try and get a good run up into turn number 3. A tight line once more for Swain. And a hybrid line, I would say, there from Downey. Started wide, turned it in towards the turn 3. Michael Wynn, black flag, down in 15th in class, 29th overall. As Richard Edgar is out of this race along with El Hilary, who we saw disconnect. Unfortunately, the rain is back again. Is just no getting rid of this rain apparently. And once again, Swain goes deep into turn 1. It produces an opportunity for Riley Downey to make his move on the inside, but once again it'll turn to the outside of turn 2. He's got much more of an overlap this time, so that means Swain can't close the door. Downey is there on the inside line. It's a much tighter line than Downey normally runs. Can he hold it, or is Swain going to be able to do a switchback? He can't. He's stuck behind. Downey moves into 4th overall, 2nd in class, and Fox has pulled a great gap of almost 8/10 over Rosenville behind now. Actually, it's increased to 9/10 to Rosenville behind. But here comes Swain for 2nd in class in D2. He's on the outside. But now he has got Harry Fox in the Division 1 class coming into this fight as well. That's the last thing Swain needs. Swain needs to fight Downey, not fight Fox. Downey is going to love it if Harry Fox get involved in this one. Fox gets a little bit of a nudge on the back of Swain. Swain goes that tight line. Again, another nudge there. Is it going to be a push from Fox here to maybe benefit Swain? I'm sure he just wants to make his way through. We're riding on board now with Harry Fox behind Jared Swain and Riley Downey. Fox is 3rd in class in that D1 category. He's got 3rd and 2nd in the D2 category. Ahead of him, 3 different racing lines. Downey has run wide on the exit. Is that going to give Swain an opportunity here on the outside line? No, it's not. He's going to have to tuck back behind into turn 2. Downey is going to hold on to that. Is Fox going to go for the move on the outside? They're side by side. There's contact. That's going to bring Rosenville back into this, surely, in the battle for 3rd in class in that D1 category. But Swain now 4/10 behind Riley Downey, who is taking advantage of the battling between the 2 classes behind. Fox goes to the outside of turn number 1. Is going to go for the switchback and has a nice run, but obviously turn 2, this is going to make it incredibly challenging to hold it alongside here up to turn 2. And there you go, they're not going to be able to do it, and he is going to have to drop behind. Actually, I think he got scared a little bit there. Could have held it, and he sticks to the inside. There's a little bit of a nudge, but Fox was still very much up that inside of Swain. He had the position to try and take the move, and luckily just a small nudge, and Swain still stays ahead, not dropping too far back off of Downey ahead, but with only about 3 laps to go in this race, he's going to want to try and get Fox off its tail so we can try and return back to P2 in class. Fox is still trying to get away from Rosenville, but Rosenville taking full advantage of Fox being stuck here. Henriquez is falling down the order. At the back, he has gone off at turn number 1. Let's see if we can finally get our first replay of the day and see what has happened to Luis Henriquez on the Division 1 category, battling with Bob Poplar just offline onto the grass, and that is going to be all the way into the tyre barrier. And once you're there in the wet, there's going to be absolutely nothing you can do. We are going to return to our fight up towards the front then. Here it is. This is our fight once more, and again it is Fox on the outside here of Swain, but this time Fox takes it. Harry Fox gets it on the outside of turn 1. Swaim is going to have to accept third position in class now. Rosenville is surely also going to have to accept fourth in class right at this point. Hilton has been out at the front of the Division 2 category. He leads the Division 2 championship, and he is doing an extremely good job this race. And actually, do you know what? This whole event, the Division 2 drivers have been extremely strong, and it is great to see them fighting it up there with the Division 1 category as well. But it is the white flag lap. Fox, it looks like he's trying to push on Downey here to get one last position overall. Of course, no point difference here. It is a risk for both drivers to be fighting this out, but this could invite Swaim back into the mix at the very end here. How's Downey going to do it in his fight for Fox? It looks like he backs out just a little bit up the inside. Fox takes it on the outside. It is going to be Downey at the front of that. But here comes Jukovic in feature race 1. Once more, Jukovic wins. And it is Stephen Hurd in second. First in the Division 2 category is Anthony Hilton. The drivers coming around to finish their laps at the background then. And we are going to get ourselves our race results here from feature race 1. Here are our results for feature race 1 then. We've got Milan Jukovic from who won that one, and Stephen Hurd who got second overall and in class. A great result for Anthony Hilton, taking first in class, third overall. It was Harry Fox in fourth and third in class. Then it was Riley Downey and Jared Swaim taking the podium in the Division 2 category. Timothy Rosenveld then took 7th overall, followed by Anders Hagland. Neil Rocks in 9th, followed by Matt Neal, rounding out your top 10 overall. It was then Mark Quad in 11th, followed by Bob Poplet. Kevin Anfield came home in 13th, out of John Cook, and Matt Malone came home in 15th, just ahead of Zach Tebow. Ian Lane took 17th, Travis Linkson Hatfield took 18th, Aaron Perez and Matt Gwillam rounded out your top 20 drivers. It was then Eric Martin who came home 21st, followed by Peter McIntyre. Jürgen Nagel came home 23rd, followed by Zach Gould. Brendan Lobb came home in 25th, followed by Thomas Batchelor. 27th was Paul Bornstein, followed by Michael Wynn. Luis Henriquez came home 29th, and Mohamed El Hilary came home 30th. Obviously, Henriquez retiring out of that race right at the very end. El Hilary disconnecting earlier on in the race, which was a real shame. And at the very back of the grid, in 31st position, was Richard Edgar. I'm going to see if I can figure out here as we go to a quick break. I will see if I can figure out who on earth is going to be starting this one from the front for feature race 2. We'll be back in a moment. Get yourself popcorn. It's warm up. But then it'll be feature race 2. We are preparing ourselves here then for the feature race number 2. Looking at the invert, it is going to be the top 23, which means Zach Gould, you're up there again. Can he do something with it this time? The 138 machine will start feature race 2 on pole, ahead of Jürgen Nagel. Peter McIntyre will start in third. Behind him will be Eric Martin, followed by Matt Gwillam, Perez, Linkson Hatfield, Lane, Tebow, Cook, Anfield, Poplar, and Codd. And then it will be Neal, Rocks, Hagland, Rosenville, Swaim, Downey, Fox, Hilton, Hurd, and Jukovic all the way down in 23rd. These reverse grids have not always been the best for Jukovic. Really struggled at the opening round at Laguna Seca. Did a much better job at Sebring. But we'll be hoping for something bit more. Try to move himself up the order. Of course, a lot of bonus points on offer in this one, because not only do we have the points for the races, you also get an astonishing 5 bonus points for a clean race if you can get this with 0x and you finish on the lead lap. I believe it's 2 bonus points for finishing with 4x or below, and a hard charger award as well. So the driver that gains up most positions will get 6 points, followed by 9 points, followed by 6 points, followed by 3 points. I can't remember, but there are a lot of bonus points on offer during this race. It's more about the bonus points than it is the points themselves. For drivers like Jukovic, who will be starting all the way down the order, doesn't necessarily matter about getting all the way to the front. It matters about gaining as many positions as possible on his way there. We are getting ourselves ready to start the final race of the day. I can't believe we're already there. It's 4 races and somehow we are already at the last race of the day. It is going to be a 20-minute feature race. Zach Gould starting on pole position in this inverted grid. It's the top 23 reserves. That means Brendan Lobb, Thomas Batchelor, Paul Braunstein, Matt Malone, Michael Wynn, Luis Henriquez, Mohamed El Hilary and Richard Edgar all missed out on the invert. But importantly for El Hilary, if he can move up the order in this race quite significantly, starting from 30th, he could get that hard charger award. And I'm really going to hope that our position gained is going to work today. Do we have it available to show? We do. Hopefully that's going to work today. But there's no promises with the multiple classes. Things like that don't always work. So I don't think it works between the 2 classes. But we are gridding up here and we are preparing ourselves. 20 seconds left on the clock. With the 20 minutes of expected racing, it's anticipated to be 26 laps. So let's see how it goes. It is wet out there. There's no rain at the moment, but it has been raining on and off as the day has gone on. Feature race 2 is about to begin here. The engines rev. And they're away, and we are green for the final race of the day here on feature race 2 as Gould pulls away from the front of the field and has a nice launch. McIntyre tries to get up the inside of Nagel. The top 4 drivers at the start of this race, all Division 2 drivers. That is a driver around in the background, and I believe it may have been Mohamed El Hilary and Brendan Lobb possibly going around in the background there. El Hilary is out of this race, has decided, well, this is going to be a drop week for him. Of course, so drop weeks will be coming into play. This is the fight at the front right now, and Gould is leading the way nicely ahead of Nagel. Martin is up to 3rd overall, 3rd in class, followed by Matt Gwilym. Gwilym leading the Division 1 class right now in 4th overall. Aaron Perez, a driver we saw a lot in Sebring, not having the best race here in Daytona, but is going to try and take full advantage of the race here in the inverted grid. Up in 5th position right now. You can see it is going 3-4 cars wide out of turn number 1 in the background as all of our drivers are trying to find their way through, including Milan Jukovic here, who is in 18th position right now. Started 23rd, so he is moving up the order. He's side by side here with Rosenfeld as they come through turn number 3. They're still side by side. Jukovic on the outside. That is Anthony Hilton behind them as Michael Wynn has got repairs required. So a meatball flat for him. A slide from Rosenfeld. Holds it, collects it, and keeps the position ahead of Jukovic for now. But here comes Jukovic up the inside as that is Eric Martin with a meatball flag. And that is a driver falling down the order. And I believe that might be Martin falling down the order in the Hot Wheels machine there, very possibly. Still side by side, that was there up ahead as Jukovic has made his way past Rosenfield and looks up the inside of Hagland now. Hagland, of course, finishing inside that top 3 in Division 2 in race number 1, feature race number 1. Jukovic does it, not going for the clean bonus, it looks like, for Jukovic. Going for the hard charger award in this one. Jukovic from 23rd to 15th right now. Do we have our hard chargers showing correctly on the right-hand side? We can certainly hope it is, as Gould continues to lead the way. Jukovic, Cod and Swaim look like they are the 3 biggest movers in the race so far, so they're on their way for that hard charger award. Gould leading the way, had a naggle, but Gwilym has made his way into 3rd position, leading that Division 1 category. So be wanting to do something with that if he can. Up towards turn number 4 as we go over the concrete and back on to the road course at turn number 5, which we switch to the left. Gwilym leading just ahead of Perez here. We saw Perez being quite a strong driver at Sebring. He's moved up from 5th where we last saw him to 4th, so he is continuing to move up the order here. You can't deny that he is racing really, really well. This is the fight between Rocks and Downey right now. Downey on the outside, Rocks on the inside. 2 different classes, of course. This fight not gaining them position, but it is gaining them track position overall. As there's contact in the background, and that's with Jukovic. That is with Jukovic, who has gone off. I think it's Neil who has gone off. Is it going to come back on safely? It looks like there is no further contact in the background. Somehow, it looks like it has been all clear, but it may have been Richard Edgar who was involved with Jukovic in that contact and that issue there. But Jukovic now 15th overall, as there's more issues just up ahead. Tebow included in that one. That is not great for one of the championship contenders in Division 2. He falls down the order. Hilton moves up the order. Who else is falling down the order with Tebow? It looks like Anfield moving down the order as well. Matt Neal down the order and with a penalty as well in 23rd position. So issues happening all around as Gwilym and Perez are fighting for 3rd overall. Gwilym needs this because he could move into the lead of the Division 2 race. But right now, it is the Division 2 drivers leading this invert grid race in 1st, 2nd and 3rd position. Perez has had to move himself up there though, as Lane looks for the lead of the Division 1 race around the outside of Gwilym. Can't quite make that move. And Gwilym leads the way on that class right now. It looks like the rain is holding off for the moment. The track still wet though, and here goes Perez for 2nd around the outside of Jürgen Nagel. Will Nagel be able to get the speed on the exit? It looks like Perez has found some great speed on that outside line. Through turn 4, will try not to aquaplane it into the wall like Matt Malone did in Heat Race 1. He's done that. He's kept it on. Through goes Perez, and here comes Gwilym now to get past Nagel once again on the outside. But is the outside going to work at turn 2? It doesn't look like it does, because Nagel coming back towards Perez here. Gwilym surely going to try and bump Perez a little bit further so he can follow through up towards turn number 2, because Nagel is going to want to try and hold on to this position. In fact, he's going back for the move up the inside of Aaron Perez, and there is contact. Perez now wide. Lane moves up the inside of Gwilym for the lead in Division 1. Will be trying to get past Perez, but is going to have to tuck it in here. Perez not going to be too happy with that contact from Nagel, but in the wet, you just can't avoid things like that. And is Perez going to go up the inside of Nagel this time? He's certainly going to try it. Nagel gives him the room, does not want contact, but that wider, slightly wider line gives him a slightly more speed through that corner and through the exit. Nagel leading this. Look at this train of cars here at 6 a.m. around Daytona in the wet. Nagel holds on to 2nd in class and 2nd overall. Perez, as Nagel goes deep, Perez goes up the inside. Through goes Ian Lane. Lane, is he going to try once again to get past Perez? Is he going to have to filter in? It looks like he is just going to have to filter in. And Zach Gould has gained a 1 second lead at the front here. He has had some good positions in the reverse races this season. He has yet to hold a great result. This could be the race. We're almost halfway through. If he can hold on to the lead here, it'll be a great result indeed, as Jukovic, who has made his way up to P9, is catching this fight in front of him between Cod and Fox. Fox up the inside of Cod, and here comes Jukovic up the inside as well, as we are going to get the interval positions, I hope, finally, if I can get this to work out. But here comes up the inside. Jukovic moves his way through past Cod and up into 8th position overall. And Cod misses his braking zone and will be off of the circuit in the background. That is a real shame for him, as we go back to what is going to be a fight for the lead, because Perez has closed up to goal. Bachelor has got a meatball flag in this one. We have got the intervals now on the left hand side. I've been meaning to change that from seat rates number 1. I do apologise. As we go up now towards turn 4 and into turn number 5. Perez is right behind. Lane is right behind. Now, is Lane going to get into this fight for the Division 2 lead to try and take the overall win himself? That's going to be the question here, as Perez is all over the rear of Gould, moves to the right-hand side, as that is Fox off in the background. Promotes Jukovic, promotes his teammate Fox as well, and Gwilym. Gwilym has made his move as well to make a way up. What happened to Gwilym? That was something happened there that I missed. But Perez on the outside of Gould here for the race lead and the Division 2 lead. They're side by side into turn 4. Perez has got just enough overlap. Gould's going to allow him to have it. Lane is going to bump his rear. Gould hopefully will hold on to that. Try to avoid the puddles that are on the left-hand side of the circuit out of pit lane, and he does so. But Perez now into the lead of this one, as that's Poplet just off the circuit in the background, going for a move for 13th for Can. Rosenfeld there in 12th position as well, as that was a side-by-side. Jukovic trying to get past Downey now. Jukovic is second in class, can we just say, has half the race to get just 4 more overtakes done, and could win the race for the first time in a reverse grid on a 23 car reverse. As that is, no! That's Gould! It's Gould off the circuit with a mistake. A battle for P2. Nagel and Lane. As that's Rocks off the track at turn 1 as well. 4 cars side by side in the background, as Lane takes second, holds second, with Nagel behind. Here comes Jukovic. Only 3 cars to overtake now, and he's dispatching one of them. He's dispatching 2 of them, but up the inside comes Riley Downey. Downey moves into second in class, side by side with Ian Lane now. Jukovic leads Division 1, second overall from 23rd on the grid overall in this reversed grid, as far back as he could start with the invert, and now only has a 2.5 second gap to catch up to your leader, Aaron Perez. Now Perez has done a fantastic job with his racing so far, just wasn't able to see it all come together at Sebring. Can he see it all come together today? This is side by side, Lane and Fox. This is fighting for second in class. Fox has got the inside and will hold the inside up towards turn 4. Lane is going to back out of that. Rather safe than sorry, I think. This is some good result for him. Third in class right now. He's got a swarm of Division 2 drivers behind him. Nagel, Swaim, Hagland, and Gould. And there is contact. Swaim up the inside of Nagel. We saw that there. Just a pit maneuver into turn 1. And once again, it looks like we see Timothy Rosenfeld pulling to the edge of the circuit and out of this race. What has happened to Rosenfeld in this one? We saw what happened up front. Oh, has that been collected in that one? What's happened up towards turn number 4 for Timothy Rosenfeld? He went out of the race due to suspension. One of the feature races due to suspension damage at Sebring. There's the contact ahead. It's deep, it's deep, it's deep, it's deep. Oh, what's happened there? Is there possible damage from earlier on in the race there, perhaps, as we try to get ourselves back into this race and with some drivers? There we go. As Downey is only 3/10 off of Jukovic, looking to pull himself along here if he possibly can with Jukovic. We'll even fight Jukovic. Look how close he's getting there. Got Fox and Lane just behind. They're going to be fighting out as well. They're going to want to try and get past Downey so they can have a fight with Jukovic out in P2. But that is first in class, of course. 17 laps completed of what is now expected to be 25 racing laps. 17 laps down. As that is up the inside, a big dive from Downey there to hold the line ahead of Fox. But that has given Fox a great run on the exit. It'll give him the outside of turn 2. Not an ideal line to be, but if he can run it side by side, which he can, he's going to have the inside up to turn 3, into turn 3. And he has got the inside into turn 3. Fox moves past Downey here and will try now to push on towards Jukovic. Downey trying to go for the exit. Just don't get the exit that you want out of turn number 3. And you just sort of, if you haven't got the speed at the very initial point on the exit from turn 3, you're not going to have it at the end. Jukovic is up 10 positions in this race so far, by the way. He is the biggest gainer. So not only is he going to be getting the points for winning this race in Division 1, he is going to get the points for being the biggest gainer as well. The hard charger award, as there is contact in the background and a big crash in the background there. I'm not sure who is involved. Bob Poplar is one of those involved there. It looks like Luis Henriquez is involved there. Peter McIntyre involved there. Meatball flags for a couple of those drivers. And Poplar had a poor feature race 1. It will continue to be a poor feature race 2 for him. With that black and orange flag, he will be tumbling down pit lane and taking one of those fast pairs. And he's going to move across to the right-hand side. And we're going to see this pit lane entry for the first time. And he has missed the pit lane entry. That's how tricky it is, this pit lane. On it, there you go. No, he hasn't. He's got the pit lane entry. No, he's got it. There you go. Such a stupid pit lane entry. But he has managed to make it back to this fight. This is the fight for third. Fox and Jukovic. And actually, because of Downey, Fox has pulled away a little bit and has allowed him to pull away from Lane as well. Fox is going to try and fight for this race ahead of Jukovic. Looking at our hard charger awards right now, Jukovic is the hardest charger. Matt Malone is going to get bonus points for being a hard charger. He's the second hardest charger. And Riley Downey right now, third hardest charger in this race, will be getting bonus points. But I know that Downey is tied with Edgar on the 7 points gained. So I'm not sure how that is then delivered. I'm also not sure if the bonus points are delivered through overall position gains or by class position gains. That's something that I should clarify for next week so that we are aware of how that works, as Zach Gould has had another issue, it looks like. Moves down to 14th overall, 6th in class, as we continue to watch this fight out front towards the end of the race. Right now, we can say that Brendan Lobb, El Hilary, Martin Wynn, Bachelor Gwilym and Rosenfeld all out of this race. 30 starters to this race, 23 continue to run around the track right now. This is the fight for second overall, first in Division 1, and Jukovic goes deep at turn 1. A rare mistake is that from Milan Jukovic. Harry Fox not getting asked twice to get involved there. Wait to the inside, now pushing Jukovic up towards turn 3. Running for a different line here. Jukovic placing the car perfectly on that wider line so that Fox just couldn't turn in to try and make that move. Fox still in second in class, but is all over with Jukovic, and that mistake surely has paved the way for Aaron Perez, without him making a mistake, to win this race with just 3 laps to go. And Jukovic is going to be overtaken by Fox. There's contact. Jukovic wide. There's another bit of contact with Downey. But Fox is into the lead of the Division 1 category. Jukovic down to second in that class. Third overall right now, and has Riley Downey fighting for it just behind. Through turn 3 they go. How is Jukovic going to be feeling about that? Because he ran a slightly wider line, got it just a bit crossed up into turn 1. Fox got that inside and just pushed Jukovic to the perfect wide line for Fox himself. And it just meant Jukovic couldn't do anything about it. Jukovic goes for a deep dive up the inside. Has to slam on the brakes. Downey all over the rear there. Probably getting caught out by how slow Jukovic needed to go. Is it possible that Jukovic trying to create an unforced error with Fox and just scare him off and wide, try and make that move through? As it looks like Matt Neal is out of this race. Peter McIntyre is down pit lane with a meatball flag. I believe he is also going to be out of this race right now. As we go with 30 seconds on the clock, we go onto the white flag, and a Division 2 driver is leading it. It is Aaron Perez leading the way onto the last lap of this race, as Riley Downey, another Division 2 driver, is fighting with the Division 1 Championship leader, Milan Jukovic. Downey getting a great line to follow Jukovic straight through. He has one more real opportunity onto the brakes here as we head up towards turn number 3. Different racing lines. There's a little bit of a nudge. It's not going to do anything major there to either driver. But let's have a look at this man here, Aaron Perez. He couldn't quite put it together in Sebring, but he's going to put it together here in Daytona. Aaron Perez is your race winner for feature race 2. Fox takes second ahead of Jukovic. Third. Fourth was Downey. Fifth was Lane. Now if Perez was on a 0x race, that is going to have been ruined at the end there, where he inadvertently got collected. But finally, let's have a look at the results to your last race of the day. Aaron Perez wins in Division 2 and overall, a second ahead of Harry Fox. Jukovic takes third in the end. A great recovery in that invert grid from 23rd, gaining enough positions to be ahead of the Hard Charger Award. Milan Jukovic in third then. Riley Downey was in fourth, followed by Ian Lane and Jared Swaim. Anders Hagelin, Stephen Hurd, Anthony Hilton and Matt Malone round out your top 10. Then came Neil Rocks and John Cook. Kevin Anfield was in 13th, followed by Mark Codd. Zach Gould was in 15th, followed by Richard Edgar. Zach Thibault in 17th, followed by Luis Henriquez, Paul Bronstein and Jürgen Nagel. Then it was Bob Poplar. Out of your race was Matt Neal, Peter McIntyre, Timothy Rosenveld, Matt Gwilym, Bachelor, Wynn, Martin Lobb and El Hilaire. And at the very back of the field, out of the race, I believe there was a driver who did not start. What a great weekend once more again here at Sebring, and a fantastic bit of weather to make it so much more exciting. We will see you then next week on August 9th for Portland with no chicane. That'll be a fantastic race. I love the circuit, and I think we're going to see some fantastic racing there. To catch up with the broadcast and all of the previous broadcasts, head over to the Beehive Bill YouTube channel and hit that subscribe button so you are notified when the videos go live, along with all of the extended highlights of the Renault Clio League. Until next time, I hope you have a fantastic week, and I will see you at Portland for round number 4. Goodbye.